Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. I'm Tanner Knight, and today we've got a box. Let's dig in. Wow. So, this is a drum, as you might have guessed. Well, this is about what you'd call a Frankenstein pack job, but looks like it's doing the trick. All right. Looks like you're starting to see a fuller picture here. This is, in fact, an 18-inch floor tom. I think it's 18 by 16, but let's take her out of this final layer of packaging. All right, this is very bizarre. This looks like a batter head, but it's on the bottom. It's upside down. Looks like we've got, two batter heads. So that's interesting. Not something you see every day. But this is a Tama Imperialstar 18-inch floor tom. And the legs are here. So it's fully complete. Sounds like utter shit, but we're going to do something about that and hopefully make this thing sound a little bit better. All right, now that we've gotten it taken out, let me put it together and we'll talk about it a little bit more. All right, here we go. 1983 Tama Imperialstar, made in Japan. This is the badge that everybody wants to have on their drums. Or maybe some people, I don't know. But either way, the Tama Imperialstar is the second highest in their range in this era, in the early 80s, only superseded by the Superstars, which you can see over there. And we'll do a little comparison from the Superstars to the Imperialstars, as well as one more tom drum that we have that we'll throw in the mix here. One thing to note about the Imperialstar line of drums is that, looks a little bright, let me bump down the exposure, is that we do have some Zola coating on the inside. So the entire interior of this drum is sealed with this plastic kind of, I don't even know what to call it, other than it's a Zola coating that was developed in the 70s. They used it to line the insides of car trunks and other areas that received a lot of noise from vibration. So Tama and a couple other different drum manufacturers actually utilized this specific drum coating for the interior of their drums. Others, like Gretsch, you'll just see painted gray, sometimes Ludwig also painted gray. Similar in that it's trying to do a little bit of grain fill, but this is a bit more extreme in that it fully seals off all of the mahogany, which this is a Luan shell, which is Philippine mahogany. And that's a bit of a misnomer. It's not actually mahogany, but it's called that commercially. You can see that we do have a muffler here, and if we spin it around, you can see the dial for that muffler. Looks like it works. That's how that works. All of the 70s and early 80s Imperialstars will have the mufflers built into the shells. I believe they dropped them in 84, 85 actually. This color I believe is wine red. It's a wrap. It's not a lacquer. So that's one thing that you'll notice between the Imperialstar and the Superstar line is that we do have a wrap versus a lacquered finish. But 8 lugs on top and bottom holding these 2 heads on. These look like the original Tama heads made in USA, probably by Remo. So kind of a bummer that they're all effed up, but you know, they are a consumable part of the drum and they do need to be changed every now and again. So I'm gonna go ahead and compare this to the Superstar drum and my Yamaha 5000 series drum, which is a bit more in line with this drum quality wise and, you know, tier wise. But those are the 2 situations that I have to compare this against. Otherwise, I do want to say I don't typically like an 18-inch tom. I think it's too much. It's hard to tune low and make it mean something. It's hard to tune high and have it mean something. So it's one of those kind of tough sizes that I don't personally resonate with, even though my primary tom is an 18-inch currently. But, you know, I think that the 16 by 16 is probably the more versatile size of a floor tom. There is a 14 by 14 or, you know, 16 by 14, but I think that the 16 by 16 is probably my preferred size of tom, not the 18 by 16 variety, which we have here. Triple flanged hoops, Imperialstar lugs and T-rods. Nice. Okay, folks, here are all three of the floor toms that I have in my possession currently. From right to left, we have the Yamaha 5000 series. This is a 16 by 16 inch floor tom. This is a made in Japan, also a Luan or Philippine mahogany construction, only this one has one layer of beech wood. Otherwise, it's the same as the Imperialstar. We have the Imperialstar in the center, and then the illustrious Tama Superstar. You can kind of see that these two are vaguely the same exact size. They are both 18 by 16 in dimensions, so they should be pretty, I don't know, comparable, if nothing else, even though we do have 100% birch on the Superstars, and again, the Luan on the Imperialstar. So let's just go ahead and hear what these things sound like, starting with our 16 by 16, just because that's where I'm standing. It's a really nice sounding drum. Very deep, very just boisterous, has a lot of attack and a lot of just roundness to the sound. So it really is a beast of a 16 by 16, which is why I tend to prefer this size, because you can get a sound like this without having to size up to an 18 by 16 or 18 by 18 if they even make that. Who knows? Here we go. Here's the 18 by 16 in the Tama Superstar. One thing before we do that, I do want to point out that our wraps look nearly identical between these two. I'm not sure if they use the same wrap or if they have a proprietary material, but they are nearly identical between the two different manufacturers. They are both made in Japan and within 2 years of one another. This is a 1985 drum, and this is, no, sorry, 1986, and this is 1983. So there's 3 years in between, and Jack wants to say hello. Hey, Jack. He's going to stay and chill with us. So, 86, 83, 1980, that gives you a rough idea of when these things were made. And all right, let's hear the Imperialstar 18-inch. That thing is punishing. So I'm gonna make the caveat right here, right now, that these heads are whipped. They are done. They're probably the original heads from 1983. There's a hole in the bottom one. I actually put some duct tape, handy dandy duct tape on it just to keep it from rattling around, but it's by no means 100%. So our Rezo head is pretty much shot. Our batter head is beaten to piss. Maybe not as bad as the bottom side. It looks like they may have swapped these heads at one point. They've both been beaten on, but that's without the muffler. I have no muffler engaged. Let's go ahead and engage that muffler just for kicks and see if that makes any appreciable difference. Okay, that muffler is all the way engaged. So not as much of a difference as I expected with that muffler in there. I don't know. I think that I'm going to probably leave the muffler off and run with it wide open. Bit more resonance. Okay, and lastly, but not leastly, we have the Tama Superstar. I'm mostly interested in hearing these two compared to one another, so let me go ahead and get over there. that is one big boy. I love that. Despite the fact that this is an 18-inch tom, I really do love this tom, and it is amazing sounding. But if I could get even 95% of that sound in a 16-inch, I would like to get some of the space back. So there you go. Okay, recording the sound today, we have 3 microphones. I tried to do same as much as possible, but I don't have 3 SM57s somehow. I can't imagine how that happened, but I only have 2 SM57s, which are on the Tama drums, and then I put my Shure SM58 on the Yamaha drum. So pretty similar as far as what you would expect to hear from all 3 of these microphones. They are pretty much the standard when it comes to studio drum capturing, mics, snares, you name it, up close. The Shure SM5758 is the best option in almost all circumstances. Otherwise, I have an Evans black chrome 2-ply head on my 18-inch Superstar Tom. And this is, like I said, the original, what looks to be a Remo head. And then I have a relatively new Remo pinstripe clear, like a 7mm, pretty thick guy, single ply on the Yamaha. And I'm tending to lean towards the Remo heads, folks. I know that most of you will typically see Evans heads on my drums, but I am coming around to the Remo heads. I skinned the Yamaha 5000 series drums, all in these Remo pinstripes, and I'm digging it. So take that for what it's worth. All right, one more time, let's run through these drums. The bottom line is that they all sound really good. Really high quality drums. I love Tama drums, especially the vintage 80s drums from Tama. I've had a Royal Star kit. I've had a couple other different Imperial Star pieces here and there. But the Superstars, and I've also had another Superstar kit as well in Super Mahogany. Those kits have all sounded so good that it's just, I find it hard to reach towards something else. And going with the Yamaha drums was not that difficult because Yamaha is the most recorded drums in history, and you know, why not check them out? So I decided to check out the 5000 series first, since it was made in Japan with that Philippine mahogany. I'm pretty familiar with that from the Royal Star and Imperial Star line of drums. So the next stop on my Made in Japan drum odyssey, I'm hoping to check out a Made in Japan Pearl kit from this same era, the early to mid 80s. And I've been doing a little research, and the Masters kit definitely speaks to me, but it also has a quite hefty price tag. It's similar to the Yamaha Recording Custom or the 9000 series, which was their highest tier of drums before the Recording Customs. And it looks really nice. The Masters are usually a lacquered drum, so that's something that differs between these two and the Pearl Masters, and the Superstars for that matter. I think you can get a Recording Custom in a lacquered finish as well, but a lot of those are also wrapped, especially in black or white. So the next thing I want to do is just take this thing apart entirely and clean it up, because it looks like it hasn't had too much attention over the past years. So it needs some love, it needs some TLC, and some new heads, and I'm going to swap it out with this Floor Tom and maybe even this one as well, and just kind of see what kind of tonal variations we have in various mixes and see where this thing wants to live. I might try to build an entire kit off of this one, because this is a pretty common color for the Imperial Star. As you can tell, it's pretty common on the Yamaha stuff too. So it's not too difficult to find a set of toms, maybe a 20-inch kick drum. I'd love to find a smaller Imperial Star kick drum, but those are exceedingly rare. So maybe I'll put together a small kit with this big ass tom, but it's pretty purpose-built to be loud, rowdy, and move a lot of air. So I'll put together another video once I get around to cleaning this bad boy, show you that process and the before and after with new heads, and hopefully that will give you a better idea of what this drum is capable of. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions. You can always leave your comments in the comments section below. I always read every single one and try to respond to as many as possible, unless they're exceedingly jerky. Let's see your best jerky comment and see if you can get me to respond. So, like and subscribe, that always helps, and I hope to see you on the next one.